Hello everyone. Hope everyone had a great coffee break. And welcome to Coffee Break. So I'm going to give it to Caesar.
Alright.
How's it going, guys? This is our app, and it is called, as you can see, Coffee Break. The idea behind it was to find something useful that you could do in, either when you wake up and have your morning coffee or when you're taking a break. What we decided to do was read the news. So we did a news summary, and what we're using is the New York Times API to pull in the articles, and we're using a cool API called Summary, that's SMMRY, to summarize those articles and give them to you in just a few sentences. And we're going to go ahead and give you guys a demo.
Woo!
Where did you find that image?
Okay, so this is our main webpage. As you can see, it's a list of all these news articles. So at a glance, you can see a picture, a title, a category, and then if you click on them, it brings in a modal that gives you a short summary, like one paragraph summary of that entire article. You can click off it, go to another one, you get the next summary, right? So this is just a general view for an unlogged-in user. It gives you news from every category, just kind of listed in order of, well, when they were published. So we have a login. Currently only Google login is working, so please don't click to submit or create account buttons yet.
Disable those buttons.
Under development.
Under development.
Yeah, right?
It's lean.
So this one has Sergey's account saved in. So let's go click here for profile. So if I'm Sergey, I really don't care about anything that happens outside of the US. So I don't want world news, right? Technology, what is that stuff? No.
What is that stuff?
How does it even work?
Sports, I am a big sports fan, right? So save preferences. We got a nice little snack bar that appears down at the bottom. And now, wow, no more world news. It only displays what I want to see.
Nice.
Right. So.
What's up, Trump?
Can you click on Caddies real quick? What's going on with that?
Which one?
Yeah, the one in the middle top.
British Open, caddies have their golfer, yeah.
Of course.
Lost the ball on par 4 third. Wow.
That seems so international.
Yeah, you can notice that with the summary API, it actually gives a pretty natural, good, concise summary.
Also that.
Does it give you anything
It's
else
more of a
back,
game,
like
but,
sentiment or anything like that?
It doesn't give you a sentiment, it gives you keywords.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we can consider adding in another API or something to get back sentiment or whatever.
Cool.
And if you're really into it too, we have the option so you can click on the full article.
Click on the link on the title. Yeah.
So you can read the full article.
Oh, wow. Maybe not that one.
Yeah, let's not read this one.
All right.
Just zoomed right in on that.
There wasn't an article of preference.
Well, there's different preferences. Anyway.
So there's better news out there.
So that's all right. We are still working on the local, sign-in, but Google works great, and we have some other features that we would love to talk about.
Sure. So pretty much I just wanted to talk about what's the potential of this app. Of course, you see just an idea, a beginning of the product. Well, I realized myself, I like to read news, but I'm so tired of going to CNN and see all this news, and we just bring up the idea how you can personalize the news that you like. People are really busy right now. They don't have time to go through the several pages of the news, so the summarization is really important in here. this app using only New York Times API. And the idea is to use much more other news APIs and resources in this app. And also, it's not only to put this in different categories, because you can see there's different categories in here that we summarized the articles for, but also I think the idea is to bring a search bar. That's something we haven't implemented in here, because what we really want to have, we want to have a search bar, and it memorizes the news that you like, and it's going to bring exactly the same news from many sources. Just imagine we call this article coffee break, because that's when you actually like to relax and read the news that you like. Maybe you just like science and arts. And this app potentially can bring all the news from all these different sources about arts and science. And you're not going to go to CNN or anywhere else, any other articles to actually read about those news. Also, there's another feature we were thinking is just to have the library of the articles that you like, so we'll be able to actually save the article to the library, so you'll be able to click on it and see the list of your favorite articles as well. So my portion in here was to do the APIs for summary and New York summary and summary API. So for we have this beautiful UI, Robin created this UI, and for the login and authorization, Cesar was in charge of that. So it's pretty much what the challenge was. It was pretty challenging, because I thought, well, we did the New York Times API for so many times with scrapers for our homeworks, and I think it's going to be an easy task to do. But what we've been doing our homeworks pretty much is to search. When you go to the top stories, this is where the challenge hits. So when you're trying to get all the different categories into the array, what is challenge is that New York Times API allows you to run only 100 stories per 5 seconds. So we had to use the timeout function to actually create that each single category will be run, and then it has to wait for 7 seconds and go to the next category as well. Well, the summary API itself, it's a very useful tool, very easy to use. I didn't have a problem with that. That's pretty much was my part. So I think that's it.
Well, one thing that we didn't mention is that this is not a live API call. We sort of made the decision in the beginning whether or not we wanted to have a live API call or to store everything in the database and just render it for the user. And we decided that for a user experience, it would be better, just way faster to just store it and display them. Just save your settings and have local settings if you're not logged in. And that's what we have. But we, I guess to allow more customization, it would probably be better to have a live API call, but it would take some time. So that's why we went with just storing it in the database first. Okay, and on that note, do you want to talk about the front end a little bit?
Sure. So our front end was implemented in React. We used React Router to go into the various pages to allow it to be a single page application. Let's see. The front end design components are all Material UI, so that's actually really cool and simple to implement. I think some of the challenges was just keeping track of state, passing down props, getting the closures correct. And in that view, I think maybe I did it with Redux, it might have been a bit simpler, but by the time I heard about it, it was like already half done, so I was like, no.
No.
Yeah. And like, in terms of future, I think we can definitely add in more news sources. So because we were limited quite a bit by rate limitation, so I think future maybe we'll pay for an account and get more stuff done.
Oh, yeah, we had to pay for summary actually for the API itself. Because it would allow you only 100, but can you imagine for testing purposes, you need much more than 100. We already used about 3,000 calls for the summary API, just for testing and troubleshooting. I think I was personally really stuck with the calls because I keep getting those errors, and each single line cost me a lot of times. But I would say I learned a lot, definitely, and that's pretty much all about our app. I think it has it's a great idea. Well, there's not really. I think it's pretty much what we have to show. Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
With the summary, do you like choose how long you want the summary to be?
Yeah, you can pass in an optional parameter for how many sentences you want the summary to end up being.
If you pass in a parameter the number of sentences that's longer than the article you're trying to summarize, does it just create content on the fly?
We actually haven't done that yet,
Yeah.
but that's worth testing.
Okay.
Oh, and also,
So you have it summarized to like 140 characters, right? Turn an
So
article into a tweet.
this summary just does it by picking out important sentences in the original article. That's how it keeps the language structure intact, right? Otherwise, it would be a kind of a mess. So you can only pick how many sentences you want in the end product.
We could probably break it down by characters though and make it like multiple tweets.
Right, or what you get back, then strip that down.
We'll just slice to 140 characters,
Right.
you know?
You could do like a reader too, right? Like it reads you that summary. Like a voice.
Oh yeah,
Think about that. That would be
definitely.
really cool.
I'll be back.
What did you use, or how is it determining the sentence is important?
So the summary API, we didn't work on it, but from their README, it basically looks for, I think, keywords in the title and then like marks them in terms of value based on their processing, and then like looks for how many times those keywords appear in the sentences and then ranks those sentences in terms of value.
And that API is for New York Times, or is it a general API?
It's a general API. You can just pass it a URL. It'll summarize whatever article is in that URL, or you can pass it a block of text.
Well, that's pretty cool.
it's pretty much a JSON line. So the
Yeah.
summary API is a very easy JSON line where you have a number of sentences. We picked 6. And where you have URL equal, and you can add any URL from any API you like. And it's going to automatically going to work with that API of your choice. Another thing I was thinking about that we haven't done is basically a user can also personalize how many sentences he wants to have in his summary API. So by simply created the for loop for that particular number that you added into the JSON. But it's very easy to use. I mean, we can also show that in the code. Yeah, it's pretty big. So, so that's pretty much that's the summary. That's the summary API. It's very easy to use. It starts from this line, and you add the API key, and so you set the length. The length is actually 5. But you also can personalize this number for the user eventually.
Yeah, I think we also need to set a timeout for each summary call because I think we're getting rate limited in the batches as well. So.
Cool. Yeah, this timeout we sent for the 7 seconds for each category. Otherwise, it will. Otherwise, the entire process will crash by API because API key for New York Times is very limited.
Any other questions?
They hurt.
Any other questions? No? All right, well then clap for them!